Well, for many years, I've been wanting to write about smuggling. It's something that sort of has kept gnawing away at me. That just wouldn't go away. Over the years, I've interviewed a number of people involved in the tobacco trade, and what they were telling me was so interesting. It was such fascinating material that I wanted to sort of. I felt this urge, this compulsion to sort of, you know, fashion it into a readable narrative. The problem is I just couldn't do it. I tried and tried and tried, and somehow or the other, I just couldn't get around to it. What happened eventually was during the first COVID lockdown here in the UK, I had a lot of time on my hands, and I turned to the material. I gathered all my notes, and somehow it flowed. And within a matter of months, the whole novel was ready. So that's essentially how it's all come about.
Now, this book is obviously based on an actual period in Gibraltarian history, but how much does it draw on real life and historical fact?
Well, almost everything in the book is based on real life incidents, almost everything. Obviously, I've sort of restructured, reconstituted some of the things that I've been told, but almost everything in the book is based on things that actually happened. I mean, I interviewed a number of people during the course of my research. So almost everything in the book is based either directly or indirectly on real life, things that actually happen, real life incidents.
And did you draw on your own personal experience of the time?
Well, yes, absolutely, because I left Gibraltar in September 1995. I went to study English at the University of Leeds just after the riots, the smuggling riots that we saw in July 1995. So I saw all this happening in front of me. And in some ways, I mean, I was down at Eastern Beach, Catalan Bay. I saw these things. I was taking mental notes at the time. I was almost preparing myself for being able to write about smuggling one day. And it's taken me quite a long time, I must say, almost 3 decades, but finally the book is ready. It's 310 pages, so it's a full-length novel, and it's now available to buy.
Your work deals with some thorny issues around the subject of Gibraltarian identity, colonialism and so forth, not always the most flattering portrayals of the Rock. What draws you to write about these issues and to delve into the more complex, perhaps even the darker side of Gibraltar?
I would say that as a writer, I've always been interested in what happens away from the centre, in the sorts of things that people discuss at home, perhaps, but not necessarily talk about in public. In fact, I'll tell you one thing. When I first started on this project, somebody said to me, "Oh, you shouldn't write about smuggling. That's a subject that should be best left alone." And I thought to myself, is this what we really want? I mean, do we want to be sticking our heads in the sand and ignoring the more sort of insalubrious elements of our past? I think that in a functioning democracy, we need to examine both the good and the bad. We need to go back and just engage with what's happened. I think it's imperative.
And what response have you had to the book so far?
Well, the reception so far has been very, very positive. Only yesterday, I gave a talk about it at the University of the Balearic Islands, an online talk, I should say. And there was a lot of interest. Even locally, there's been a lot of interest. So I'm very pleased with the response that I've had so far.